So huge thanks for joining myself. I'm going to be out of most of this picture because the focus is on Diksesh, who I met at John Corrie's event. I've met so many people at John's event, to be fair. I have to go back to John's event because I think I haven't been all year. I usually try to get there at least once a year, so I'm sure we'll be there before Christmas, hopefully. So that's where I met Diksesh. Diksesh, you presented that particular night.
That's right, that was nearly 18 months ago.
Wow, 18 months ago.
18 months ago at John's event.
So a lot's happened in the last 18 months.
Yep.
One of the things which has happened is you've transitioned from full-time employee, and I'm not allowed to use the word work.
Yep.
So do you want to explain that journey?
Yeah, I mean, I spent 25 years in investment banking, and we moved into property development just over 3 years ago, and as it happens, I actually quit 6 months ago, back in April, and most of our success actually has been in the last 6 months because we've had more time to go off and find the opportunities and work with investors.
So just focusing very briefly, transition from HMOs or single lets
Single lets
to HMOs to development, mostly focused in the southeast, although you're interested in other areas of the UK as well.
Yep.
And the key thing is about the greatest change possibly was when you went to the HMO and you were talking about 4 bedrooms.
Yeah, so our first purchase from a development perspective was a block of 4 properties, terrace properties with 45 rooms, and that we secured just under 2 years ago with £500,000 worth of joint venture finance, and that was our first real big win.
Sure. When did I haven't really asked you this in advance, but when did your property journey begin on single lets? Was it?
It's probably just over 20 years ago.
Wow, so that's quite
a
while.
while back. Yeah.
So you've seen, this is a discussion I was having with Sarah this morning about the economic cycles, and people have seen all the different cycles, and it's quite different if you've only seen one cycle. So you've seen a few cycles in that 20-year period.
Absolutely.
You've also seen changes as well. Probably the word HMO did exist 20 years ago, did it, or not?
I would say it was more driven by the term bedsits rather than HMOs, but yes, it did exist.
Because the regulation in HMOs is a lot stronger than it has been. And I know coming up fairly soon in January, well, I say January next year, some point fairly soon, Richard Takani, who's focused on HMOs, will be speaking at Central London. I'm sure you're going to be speaking fairly soon as well. Partly when your diary is, because you've got a busy diary already for 2018, haven't you?
Yes, I'll be speaking up at Veritas Kingston in January, up at J6 Slough in February.
Did I see something about Cambridgeshire?
Cambridge PPN, speaking there next week on the 9th of November.
So you've seen a few cycles, you've also built that track record as well.
Yep.
But one thing which you did, which I think is incredibly hard, is moving from a full-time job to, and particularly in your position as an investment banker, when everything's comfortable in terms of a very comfortable lifestyle.
Yep.
And I think it's probably tricky or harder for
Very
you.
hard.
I'm sure you've got friends who are still investment bankers. So how do you make that push? How do you go from being someone who's full-time, and you can easily get comfortable in full-time employment as well?
Yeah, it's a good question. What I recommend to people sort of coming or wanting to move into property development is set yourself up to start the journey. We started the transition to property development about 3 years ago whilst I was still working. Create a track record of getting 1 or 2 projects off the ground, learn the art of raising private finance, get some confidence going, and once you've got some money coming in, funding is always important, that then gives you the confidence to drive ahead, to actually step back and actually go, hey, I'd like to do this full time.
So did you raise finance from other sources before you needed to, or was it at that particular point? I.e., you talk about joint ventures. Could you have relied on your own finances, or was it purposely done to start early on JVs?
Well, when we first started with the HMO journey, we actually self-funded that. So we actually did 4 internally for ourselves, and that then transitioned onto a client turnkey solution for investors.
Now, Diksesh, I don't want to delay you because I know you've got another meeting coming up in a few minutes' time. So, how can people find out more about yourself, your property business, what you're doing? And I'm not sure I'm allowed to go into too much detail about Peterborough.
Sure.
But there's a site which you're working on, waiting for planning.
Waiting for planning on 2¼ acres site, planning for 35 houses.
So how can people find out a little bit more about what you're doing?
Sure, so there's a couple of ways. You can either connect with me on Facebook. I'm also attending Brendan's meets that are coming up over the coming weeks. Coupled with that, I'm talking at Cambridge PPN and a few other meets over the course of 2018 as well.
So PPN Cambridge is on the 9th,
9th of November.
Right?
Yeah.
So lovely. Well, I've never been, but I love the host, Fiona Talbot.
She's very good, yeah. And Carol Neals as well, very good.
So that's one way. Is there a website as well?
Yeah, they can go to our website, prosperouspropertysolutions.uk.
Say that again.
prosperouspropertysolutions.uk.
Okay,
prosperouspropertysolutions.uk.
So that's one way to connect. Ryan, I love you, Ryan, because on my phone it says volume muted, but you actually can hear Diksesh. So I was wondering at what volume level was like. Look, I just want to say a huge thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Brendan.
Ryan, and my listeners, whether you're listening live or whether you're listening at a later time. So huge thanks.
Thanks, Brendan.
Huge thanks.